Masters' MLK Day was a large success this year, in no small part thanks to the student planning efforts that went into it. Members of both the middle school and the upper school gathered in the Fonseca Center gym to watch student performances and listen to several different speeches relating to the day's theme. Dr. Roland Davis explained the importance of the day's theme, as well as the role that student planners had in coming up with it.
The theme for the day, Not Done, was the idea that came from a student during one of our committee meetings as we were brainstorming about what possible themes could be. And through the course of that conversation, a student threw out this idea of this work not being done. And without question, everybody sitting around the table said, absolutely, that's it. That's our theme for the year.
Students worked to plan the event ahead of time, create engaging workshop ideas, and refine those over time, create presentations for the morning, and oversee the day's schedule and programming. Davis further explained the importance of student leadership, adding on what they provided behind the scenes.
So Mr. Douglas had convened a committee of the MLK Day Planning Committee, and that was made up of students and faculty. And we didn't get as early a start as we had hoped to this year, but we still, I feel like, had plenty of time for student involvement. Students got to look at the schedule and offer input in terms of what the logistics would look like for the day. Students reviewed the workshops, the lists before they were approved, so they had a sense of what the workshop opportunities would be. So yeah, I think students did have a chance to weigh in and be directly involved in the planning and execution of the day.
Elijah Brooks, a junior and co-chair of SCHEME this year, spoke on his experience operating behind the scenes.
For me, what I did in MLK Day was I gave a welcome, short little welcome, 2 minutes at the start. But my role, to be honest, was more like an observer in seeing it. And to be honest, I really enjoyed MLK Day this year. I thought the speaker was very informative. Not only informative, it's just the way she connected technology and race was unheard, and I feel like she really brought her expertise to us that day. Also, the workshops, I was in 2 workshops actually. I was in Black and Beauty, and I was also in AAVA, African American Vernacular English. If I got this much out of it, and I'm myself a person of color, I can only imagine what other people got out of it. We are learning something new, something different today. That's very important.
Brooks further explained the process of creating a presentation for the morning.
The process for it was actually very nice. We met after school, and then we talked over what do we want the school to take away from our 2 minutes, even though it's very brief. What do we want the school to take away? And it was just once again the community norms, and also some of the little bits that we added in there, we're very welcome to have everybody today, but as a remembrance that today is not just a remembrance, but it's also a process. We're here to build, we're here to grow, we're here to cultivate a community that is better for not only just people of color or PWI, but for everybody.
Junior Gabriel Tamako spoke on his experience leading a workshop.
My workshop was the oppression by government and also just general that transgender people face in the United States today. Well, I started off by telling the history of transgender people in the United States, multiple different, and also how African Americans have had a large impact on that community. I also then moved on to current day topics such as political persecution, laws made against them, and then I went into a question and answer type thing.
The workshop leaders chose their topics based on their expertise and the issues they felt were relevant to our world today, taking on Masters' mission to be a power for good in the world and contributing to the day's success. For TBN, this has been Xavier Ralston, the Masters School.